All right, what's up? Tim Sykes here. I wanted to do a video lesson before. I know everyone's probably going to watch the Super Bowl tonight, so I wanted to just go over some plays just to get ahead of the big game. Also, leave a comment. Who do you think is going to win, the Eagles or the Chiefs? Most people seem to want the Eagles just because the Chiefs always win and the Chiefs barely win. I'm undecided. I'm conflicted because Saquon Barkley, who's probably going to be the game MVP and should be the league MVP, he's a former Giant. I'm a New York Giants fan, and we stupidly let him go for the crappy quarterback, Daniel Jones, who ruined our entire season and multiple seasons. So it's tough for me. I'm going to focus on stocks. As you can tell, I have a little PTSD even as I'm talking about it. But if you do watch, who do you think will win, the Eagles or the Chiefs? I'm going with the Eagles just because I have loyalty to Saquon, even if the Giants don't have loyalty to him. This past week was fantastic. Shout out to Jack Kellogg. Every single one of you, where's Jack's webinar? Every single one of you should watch this webinar in the challenge. He gave a great webinar. He went over his plays. I mean, the day that he was giving the webinar, he's up $158,000. He nailed BBAi from the high fours. I think he sold some in the fives and the sixes and the sevens. It got all the way up to 9, which is crazy. But I also traded it in a very cowardly way. Jack was giving me crap about it. I had a little profit on the week, just making 500, 1,000 here or there. This was me making roughly 400. I gave a shout out to Jack because it was just awesome how well he did. But I want to be very clear here, okay? Because some people get confused with the money. You see like, oh, I'm up 400. Jack made like, I think close to 300,000 on the week. I think it's good to learn from big traders, but most of you watching this are not there yet. Most of you should focus on trades like this. And I know it's not as exciting. Maybe there's like a hybrid version where maybe you can take some profits and then let others go more. But I want to show you why I trade the way that I do, because too many people think it's just about how much money you can make. And it's not, okay? You have to understand that with big size comes big stress and big risk. So as most of you want to trade with bigger size, you want to make more money, you want to be my next millionaire student, most of you are not ready yet, okay? So when you look at screenshots like this from Jack, understand that he has nearly a decade in this game, and the way that he takes such size, and he can still be wrong at any time, but he's using data and experience built up over years, okay? And he is so dedicated. I'm here in Mexico right now with 3 of my top students. We're here for these butterflies, which is pretty crazy. I'm actually here for a wedding too. I'll post about it in a little bit. But the way that I trade is because I'm living a busy life. And most of you are living a busy life too. Maybe not as busy as mine, but I think that you can still trade while living a busy life. Jack is like total dedication, going to bed at like 8, 9 p.m., waking up at 3, 4 a.m. every single day. Not really going out much, but he's also made nearly 3 million in the past few months. So he pushes it when the market's hot, when his strategy is hot. For me, I do pretty much the same thing whether the market's hot or not. Maybe you'll see me take bigger positions, maybe be a little more aggressive when there's the better plays or something that fits my strategy better. But right now, I mean, this is pretty much my average trade, like what I did on BBAi. And it's not that exciting, making like 2, 3, 4%. But at the same time, we're actually heading out. We had like a 3-hour drive. So I was just trying to fit this trade in. BBAi was a contract winner. So I want to be very clear here. Like Jack was giving me crap because I was giving him crap saying like BBAi is boring here in the mid 4s and the high 4s. Then it goes all the way to the 9. And Jack's like, I love boring stocks. That's fantastic. Understand, BBAi spiked because of the press release, okay? The press release was right here where they win a Department of Defense contract. That's when the stock gets exciting. Before that, it's not that exciting. Jack is playing the odds that there's going to be a breakout, and he was right. But at the same time, the contract ignited it. So many of you are like, oh, Sykes, you trade these volatile stocks, but you trade with such small size. Correct. That is correct. But also, you don't have to take these early positions like Jack does, right? Like all of you who are Jack subscribers, fantastic. You got it early in the 4s, and whether you're selling the 5s, 6s, or 7s, it's just pure gravy. But you still could have bought it in the 5s after the news was announced. So the news came out right here. This is what really spiked the stock a lot. So I don't want you to be confused where you think like, oh, all boring stocks are just going to get exciting. Jack got a little lucky with the press release. And if you're a short seller and you want to pick the press release apart, it's actually for something that was already in place since 2022. So the shorts aren't wrong that this company is like recycling press releases, recycling contracts. It's not that good of a company. They're now valued at 2.2 billion. This press release ignited the market cap up by $1 billion. Shorts are pulling their hair out, what little hair they have left, because they're like, it's an old press release, it's an old contract. Welcome to the market, okay? Shorts can pull their hair out. Shorts can get angry that it's an old press release, but whatever spikes stocks and squeezes shorts. So props to Jack. I think every single one of you should go to JackKelloggTrading.com and subscribe. I'm very proud to help him not just learn this game, but now also teach this game. And it's two different strategies, okay? He goes big, and so he has to buy these, quote, boring stocks, because otherwise, if he's buying a fast-moving stock, there's so much slippage, and it's really tough to get a good grip. Where it's a boring stock, it's easier because when he was buying it in the fours, it was a potential multi-day, multi-month breakout. It wasn't a given. I'm in a boring stock over the weekend in AISP, and I'm playing the odds that this one is going to break out. We'll see if it does. But we're right at this key level of 6. I'm in around 580. I don't like buying right at the key breakout. But if it breaks this key level of 6, then it could theoretically test this level of 7. Do I need a press release for it to spike? Potentially. So I'm not against boring stocks. You just have to know that boring stocks don't just get exciting all the time. Jack got a little lucky. But as Jack and I like to joke, the harder we work, the luckier we get. And Jack works his butt off. He was there for the potential multi-month breakout. Make no mistake, the people behind BBAi know exactly what they're doing, okay? When you issue an old press release with an old contract, they know specifically that they're going to squeeze shorts, okay? So you can get all high and mighty about this. You can say this is a foul, whatever. This is the market, okay? And I always say, ride the hype, just never believe it. And that really applies to BBAi. So congrats to Jack. Congrats to so many of you who are Jack's newsletter subscribers. I mean, he was pounding the table in the fours. It wasn't just like one buy alert. I got like 7 or 8 emails from him because he thought that the research confirmed that it was going to break out. And sure enough, it did. So congrats to BBAi management. You guys are great pumpers. We need some pumpers. Short sellers, I'm sorry. It's just a tough time for you. Ethics, logic, value, none of that really matters right now. I'm sorry. That's just the market. I also like more volatile stocks. So even though I only made 400 on that BBAi, I also made money on QNTM. This was probably my best trade of the week. And again, this was me rushing a trade pre-market because we had a crazy day. So this is why I like trading small and showing you that you can do this even trading part-time. Because Jack and a lot of traders don't think that it's possible. They think that you have to trade completely obsessed, completely dedicated. And for many people, that's just not practical, right? Like many people have jobs, you're in university, you have kids, you have things to do. I think that you can choose. And by all means, I want more obsessed students. I'm really excited in a few days. I'm going to be doing an inner circle event with one of my upcoming millionaire students, Stratty, who's at around 650,000. And then we also have several other millionaires like JCP, one of my new millionaires, David Hanlon, laptop legend, and a few other surprise guests, another millionaire too. So I think that you can be obsessed, but you can also do this in a relatively part-time way. So QNTM. Oh, by the way, if you want in on the inner circle, we're doing these small group meetups, never more than like a few dozen people. It's not like a huge conference. That way everyone can ask questions and you get actual like FaceTime with millionaires. Email admin@timothysykes.com and I'll post a link below this so you can learn more about the inner circle. But that's if you're truly dedicated and you want these little private meetups. We're also doing Zoom calls and Stratty is doing a lot. I'll explain more in another video. But this is what I'm doing. Like I'm literally traveling the world with some of my millionaire students. This is pretty cool with Evan. Evan had like a $30,000 week while we're traveling too. And he trades bigger, which I don't like. Okay. I like to trade very small and safe and cowardly. There's a saying, teachers are those that can't do. I have never, ever been able to really size up. I get nervous. I make stupid mistakes. You want to say like I'm a failed trader? Fantastic. Say I'm a failed trader. I've still made nearly $8 million trading cowardly, selling too soon, because I'm on the right track. And this is why I'm a teacher, and this is why I love showing you what I do right, what I do wrong. I don't have the spreadsheets. I don't have the discipline to really trade big. And because I'm always traveling, I don't even always have the Wi-Fi. But even if I wasn't traveling, I still wouldn't really like that. I really like trades like this. This was QNTM. This was already a volatile stock for me. So like if you're using Jack's type, boring stock type methodology, right? He would be buying the breakout here at like 7. And he wouldn't even take profits here necessarily in the 9s. He might take profits here in the 11s and the 14s. So this would have actually worked pretty well here if you're just looking at breakouts and potential breakouts. The longer you hold these kinds of plays, the better. QNTM, if you remember, had that press release back here with their clinical trials where theoretically it reduces your blood alcohol content. This is what SHOT wanted to do a few months back, but never really did. This is a fantastic press release, okay? They have the clinical trials, and this thing just keeps going. And perhaps I should have been more aggressive, but SHOT eventually faded, and I never really do well with biotechs. So not my ideal kind of company, but this is a beautiful chart. And congrats to many of you who did better. But I saw this thing, I was buying the press release in here, and the funny thing is the press release spiked it, and then it didn't really do anything for like 2 or 3 days. Really, it was like day 4 that really spiked the most, and that's because the initial short sellers were squeezed. So understand, whether you're trading BBAi with the multi-month breakout, this is a short squeeze. They're using old news with an old contract. Shorts aren't wrong fundamentally. They're wrong with the wrong strategy at the wrong time. QNTM, I guarantee you when it spikes from 3 all the way up to the 6s and the 9s, shorts are licking their chops here in the 9s, thinking this is going to go back to the 8, 7, 6s, 5s because they think it's overvalued. Instead, they get squeezed. So you can trade BBAi based on the knowledge that even if it is an old press release, shorts will get squeezed. You can trade QNTM here with the knowledge whether or not their drink works. The reason why it's spiking is because early shorts are getting squeezed, okay? And I know I'm going to get this question. Everyone's like, well, how many shorts there are? There's no accurate short selling information. The good news is that if you use Stocks to Trade Breaking News, they specifically alert a bunch of different newsletters, chat rooms, and short sellers. And also, any stock that's up from 3 to 7 to 9 to 10, shorts are going to target them, okay? Because they think that these things are going to fade. And most stocks do fade, but when they don't, when they keep breaking out, that's when you should be buying. Like, this is an atrocious exit on my part, but we were also leaving. We had like a 2-hour drive. I love Mexico, but everything is like a far drive. And I just squeezed this trade in pre-market because I had to go. And it was funny, like when we finally got to the butterfly sanctuary and I had some service, I was already in the 16s, 17s, and I missed the biggest run up. But I was buying this here pre-market. It had already spiked from 10 up to 13. I was dip buying it right here. In hindsight, I got like literally the best entry here, just around 11, double topped at 13. Even if I hadn't been going anywhere, I would have sold on this double top at 13. That's just me. Again, Jack holds through the ups and the downs, smaller ups and downs, to go for bigger gains. And that's why he's made nearly double what I've made in half the time. But for me, I'm just looking for this. I'm looking for a short squeeze. And this is the cool thing here where you say, okay, Tim, you see these morning spikes. How do you, what to dip by, when to dip by? It hit 13. It comes back down to 11-ish. Look at this. The breakout here is 10. Okay, so I should have theoretically held this one longer, but at the same time, I'm specifically buying it on a $2 a share dip. And again, my schedule kind of screwed everything up. But in an ideal world, you buy this on the dip right in here in the 10s or the low 11s. It goes right back to 13. You can make $2 a share. And then you even have a third time here the next day, or not the next day, the trading day when the market opens here. You could buy this breakout at 11-ish. It gets halted, okay? This is why I like more exciting stocks. I mean, if you see this stock up a lot, right? This is all pre-market. It's up from 10 to 13, whether it tops out at 13 or not. It comes down at the open. These are short sellers, okay? Short sellers are trying to crash this stock. They're trying to create a fade all day. The reason why it goes from 1090 up to 16 in, 15 minutes? These are shorts getting squeezed. The shorts tried to pound this into the ground right here. They failed. It squeezed up here. It gets halted because shorts are trying to cover before it breaks the day high. And then these are all shorts getting squeezed. And then again, I'm sure some shorts tried to not give in. They tried to average up. And they were probably all celebrating right here on this crash from 15 down to 12s. But again, the longs now are using this breakout-ish level of 13-ish, which got down to like 12.6 here, 12.5. The breakout here was like 13. The breakout attempt here was 13. It's not an exact science, but if you ever miss any of these squeezes in the breakout attempts, even a dip buy here at 10:30. Look at this. You could dip buy it here in the 12s, and an hour later it's in the 17s, 18s. So you have multiple opportunities. Just know that all of this action is short squeeze related. Know that all of this spiking on BBAi is related. When you see an old press release, a recycled press release with an old contract, a lot of shorts say this is wrong. I must fundamentally bet against it. You, if you are an astute, adaptable trader, you should say, I recognize that shorts are going to be offended by this pumping technique. I understand that there are shorts and they all short in the same chat rooms. If you ever look in these Discord chat rooms, it's very much groupthink. They're like, this is the evidence, this is the research, let's short together. Ape strong together, short strong together. And they just all get squeezed. So we must thank the shorts, as I often do on Twitter, and I tell you in webinars and in my chat room, thank the shorts. Because BBAi does not deserve to double from $1 billion to a $2 billion company on an old contract. QNTM does not deserve to go from the 9s to the 18s 4 days after the news. This is short selling, okay? This is why I don't short anymore. This is why I teach, and I'm still profiting. So whether you're trading big like Jack, by all means, get inspired by his big screenshots. Every single one of you challenge students should be watching and learning from his webinars. Because even if you're not trading big, there's so much knowledge and experience behind every one of Jack's trades. It's fantastic. And it's not just BBAi, but that is a golden play for him. For me, I'm just happy to make a little money. LIPO, I was also going for the short squeeze. Let me just show you what happens when it doesn't squeeze, okay? It's not like every play is going to be a perfect short squeeze. LIPO, I went pre-market and I was trying to get the short squeeze. Again, another biotech, so I recognize that I'm not good at it, or I'm not great at it. But this one had good FDA approval news. It was spiking, and right in here, I recognized that 7-ish was the top. It couldn't really break out. So if a stock has a key level where it can't seem to get past, you have to say, wait a minute, this is possibly the top. This might only be a $100 profit, but this is a fantastic trade because I'm buying it pre-market thinking it's going to squeeze more. When it doesn't, I'm out. It actually got up to $7.50 while I had it, so I could have had a bigger profit, but whether I had a bigger 50-cent a share profit or a 10-cent a share profit, doesn't matter. I was buying right near the top. So if you're ever buying one of these potential short squeeze stocks and it doesn't break the day high convincingly or pre-market high convincingly, get out. Because as you can see, this is what shorts want. Okay, QNTM was a short squeeze. Shorts didn't get what they wanted. BBAi, short squeeze. They didn't get what they wanted. LIPO, this is exactly what they want. When the morning spike fails, you get these fades. So recognize that it's a battle of shorts versus longs. Recognize that you have the opportunity to hold for a few minutes or hours if you have a busy schedule or if that's your personality. Or you could trade bigger once you have experience. I would not trade bigger and I would not hold longer without experience. I really like taking these small gains over and over sometimes cutting losses, but that's how you learn. That's how you get experience. You stay in the game so that you can learn enough to take bigger size later on. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Congratulate Jack and tell me if you think the Eagles or the Chiefs are going to win. Let's have a good Super Bowl tonight. Hopefully the commercials are good too.